Okay, we're going live. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the next session. So I'm so glad to present you Ira Brown. He's the founder and president of Project Widgets from the US. So Ira is the founder and president of Project Widgets, a leader in the field of project management, and is recognized Microsoft project expert. He has over 25 years of experience helping organizations implement enterprise project management solutions. Ira is the widely published author of several Microsoft project books and is a frequent presenter on the topic of automating Microsoft project. Project Widgets offers several add-on products that have been designed from the ground up to help pharmaceutical organizations meet their business objectives. And I'm glad to leave the floor to Ira, who will be also presenting. Chris will be also co-delivering this presentation. So, Ira, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, and good morning, everyone. Thanks for attending our session this morning, where we'll be presenting you an overview of our pharma solutions, and we're really happy to be here. Before I begin, I'm just going to give you a little bit of a background on who we are at Project Widgets. We're a Microsoft Project Gold partner and solution provider. So really everything we do revolves around the use of Microsoft Project and helping organizations implement project management solutions that are fit for purpose. I've been at this now for well over 25 years. And I've contributed to a number of books on Microsoft Project, and we primarily work with companies in the pharmaceutical life sciences industry. And so really all of our solutions that I'm going to be showing you this morning all originally came out of working with real clients, and now I get to show you some of these solutions to see if they may be beneficial for you. So in terms of what we'll be covering today, we'll start off with our business use and value proposition. I'll be turning it over to my colleague, Chris Beck, to tell you more about that. And then we'll be taking a look at the tools that we've created, what we refer to as our widgets, that are all integrated with Microsoft Project. They're all built upon the Microsoft technology. And we'll get to see how we can initiate new projects consistently with our project initiation widget, and capture information about the project beyond the schedule with our project details portal, and many other tools that I'll be telling you more about throughout this next half hour. So what I'd like to do now is I'd like to introduce my colleague, Chris Beck, who'll be discussing the approach and value that a project management methodology brings to an organization.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Chris Beck, and like Ira, I've been in the pharma industry 25 plus years. My typical role in an organization is a global head of program management. So like many of you on this conference, I've been in your seat. I know what it's like to build this capability. I know what it's like to implement it on a global level, both at large pharma as well as small startups. So the first slide I'm going to walk through very quickly should be something that kind of summarizes what we've been hearing thus far this morning. We know, because of our profession and our background, is that going from strategy to execution requires a good program management methodology. It first starts with a common goal. We must manage our operational partners and manage the dependent cross-functional activities. If you look on the schematic on the left-hand side, I think we can all recognize what this chaos looks like, right? If left alone, these independent life cycle segments, clinical, regulatory, supply chain, would start going slightly askew, right? If they ran down a path without any integration and any discussion, it will kind of look like what it does on the left-hand side. The value that we bring we being everyone on this call, is that we align these different segments. We get them all focusing on a single outcome, which is getting life-altering therapies to patients in need. How do we measure that? It is to get to market as quickly as possible with the best product profile. And by doing that, we will be maximizing the value of our asset. If you just click forward, Ira, everyone on this call knows the benefits of doing this well. They're listed here. We'll be able to be proactive in managing partners. We're able to make rapid prioritization decisions, and we're able to optimize our resources. What work gets the resources when and how much. But most importantly is that bottom left bullet. By doing this well, we consistently meet our strategic objectives and our milestones. What we say becomes a reality. So as a large company to a small startup company, what we commit to means a lot. Next slide, please. So what value do we bring to the business? Right? When it's all said and done, what does program management bring? Right? What we do is we drive rational and very deliberate and informed schedule and resource decisions. We facilitate that critical dialogue to move our programs forward. If we look on the left-hand side of the schematic here, right, those are those independent life cycle segments, whether it's regulatory submissions, clinical trials, right, your supply chain activities, right, we're getting them focused. The first thing that we do is we pull them into what is typically called an integrated program plan. One product within a single therapeutic area has a plan that goes from research all the way through registration and even into commercialization. So at a very high level, what is that program and what are those cross dependencies or cross functions, right? And if we stop there, what benefit do we have? Well, first and foremost, we have consistency. Across every product in the portfolio, there is a common language that we will be using to discuss progress, upcoming activities, risks, issues, mitigation steps. So by at least focusing and getting them into a single plan, we're able to accomplish at least that. If we take it to the next level down, we then start looking across the portfolio, across every program, across every therapeutic area. What does our organization look like? Right? This gets us into things that are repeatable, right? You are able to establish what we call a single source of truth. Based on the program plans, based on the cross-portfolio view of this, what did we sign up for and what are we on the hook to deliver? We take that to the next level. Now we're talking about actionable information. And I think the key word there is actionable. When we provide this information in the right form, in the right way, people can make decisions from it and it will drive the organization forward. Right? So the key business questions that we as a program management organization typically are asked to facilitate and to help provide information for across the programs. What are the critical milestones? What are the dates? What milestones have changed? Right? It's simple to say, hey, this is the program, but a month later, what folks want to know is I've seen it, I understand it, what's changed since the last time, right? What's the impact and rationale of those changes? Then you even go a little bit deeper and then you start talking about resources, right? What resources are required to deliver on that? Do we have the capacity? If not, how big is the gap? And then you start thinking about, well, what happens when we need to add new work? If a particular program wants to add another indication, if we're looking to acquire another asset, can we absorb that work? If not, where are the gaps and how big are they? So this actionable information, right? If we do this well as a program management organization, we're giving this unbiased insight into the realities of delivering on the portfolio. So we all know that this methodology, a sound methodology, requires two things. It requires good process, good decision-making bodies. It also requires a technology to make it efficient. And I'll turn it over to Ira, who will walk through a fit-for-purpose technology solution that actually allows you to ask and answer these very basic business questions in a very efficient way. Ira?
Thank you, Chris. All right, so I'd like to spend a little bit of time familiarizing you with some of the widgets that we have that all work within Microsoft Project and make Microsoft Project a lot easier for people to use and really doesn't require them to become experts in the tool. And we like to be able to create solutions where you just have to click a couple of buttons and you get your desired result. So we're going to start off by taking a look at our project initiation widget. So this ensures that projects are created in a consistent manner, regardless of the level of expertise or the experience of the project manager. It will leverage your project templates. It will enforce a standard project naming convention. It'll provide a way of entering some of the metadata fields for a project. And we also have the ability within the templates to be able to specify which activities are mandatory versus which ones are optional. So you can put into that template all the different kinds of activities that may be performed as part of a program. Some can be tagged as mandatory, so you're always going to be doing those activities for a project, but others you may not do all the time. So you can tag them as optional in the template. And that way, when the project manager runs the initiation widget, anything that's defined as optional, they'll be able to either select or deselect depending on whether that activity needs to be performed for their project. We also support the creation of an entire set of projects for a program. And in fact, you could even do this at one time, or you can do it over time, depending on what's appropriate. But the idea would be that you have a program. You may want to start off by creating an integrated program plan, as Chris talked about. And then you could go into the initiation widget and create a clinical plan or a regulatory plan or a CMC plan, all for that same program. And we have integrated our tool with a product called MasterLink. And MasterLink is a tool that's going to automatically allow us to create inter-project links between similar tasks and milestones or related tasks and milestones across the functional plans and back to the integrated program plan. So it kind of connects everything for you in an automated way. And that way you'll ensure that if you have a representation of a particular milestone in your integrated program plan, and that milestone is owned by another function, that should those dates change in the functional plan, you'll immediately see that in your plan, and you'll see that you are out of sync, and then you'll be able to accept that change into your plan. It doesn't automatically make the change for you. So that's what the initiation widget does for us. So let's have a quick demo of this. I know we have a little over 10 minutes left, so I won't be able to go into a lot of detail, but I encourage if you like a lot of the things that I'm showing you and talking about, please feel free to reach out to me and contact me. I'll be happy to give you a much more in-depth demonstration of our tools that I'm showing you today. So I'm going to go into Microsoft Project, and notice that we're in Microsoft Project Professional. Looks very much like what you're used to seeing in Microsoft Project, except that notice that we have this widgets tab with all of our different custom functions here. So that's how we go about launching many of our widgets. So I'm going to click the button for the project initiation widget. Okay, and this is going to bring up the widget. And the first thing that the widget will ask me for, as you'll see in a moment, is to select the program or perhaps create a brand new program. So I'm going to create a new program here. I'm just going to put in PW, and I'll just give it a program ID here. And then here it brings up all the different types of projects that I could create for PW 500. There's my integrated program plan. There's all the different functional plans. Behind the scenes, I have a template for each one of those. So I'll pick integrated program plan. All right, so once I pick integrated program plan, we're now trying to figure out what metadata do I need to be able to complete for that particular type of project. So here you can see that it brought in these other fields. I'm going to go ahead and fill some of this out. I'll put in a start date. In this case, it's prompting me for a finance ID, which the finance organization would like me to include. And notice how it's forming the project name here as soon as I fill out some of that high-level information. And that's how we ensure that you have a consistent project naming convention. Okay? And we'll put in a couple more fields here. This is going to be an in-progress project. And then I'll click the button that says Select Project Tasks. And this is going to go out and dynamically read the template. Notice how these tabs are automatically now displayed at the top of the widget. So this reads the template, and this will show me all of the different activities for research and IND enabling. And notice that some of them have a check mark next to them that I can't uncheck. Well, those are the required or mandatory activities. Others I can uncheck because those are defined as optional. So for example, if I go to clinical development, let's say in clinical development, we're going to be doing multiple phase 1-2 studies. I can scroll down to that section of the widget, and I can specify the quantity right here. Like, let's say we're going to be doing 2 studies, and maybe we'll be doing 2 phase 3 studies. So I'll do the same thing there. So it's going to, when it builds the project, it will take all of those activities, that whole section of the plan associated with the study, and replicate it the number of times that I've specified. So it does all that without you having to have a high degree of expertise in Microsoft Project. It's going to do all that work for you. You're basically just checking off the things that you want to have included in your project. Under registration, notice I have the tasks for US submissions and EU submissions. Well, what if we're not going to be doing an EU submission? We can just uncheck those activities and it will not include them in the project. So you're basically just going across, making the decisions about what you would like to be able to include in your project, and this will build the project for you when you click the Create Project button. In the interest of time right now, I won't actually go and create the projects. We just have a little bit of time left, but I think you get the general idea. And this ensures that the projects are started in a consistent manner, regardless of who's building them. It takes the creativity out of it and helps you follow the process that's been defined. Okay? So let me go ahead and move on to my deck here, and I'm going to talk next about a tool that we call our Project Details Portal. So Microsoft Project does a really nice job of building the schedule for us, but there's a lot of additional information that we want to be able to capture for our project beyond just the schedule itself. We have metadata for our project. We might want to capture information about who are the key contacts within the organization, or what are the assumptions for our project. We want to be able to do status reporting and capture issues and risks. So we've created a tool called the Project Details Portal. It is configuration driven. So we work with an organization to determine exactly how they want to display this information and what they want to include. And then we have the Project Details Portal available for every project automatically. So let's take a look at that. This is a browser-based application. So let me just go to the Project Details Portal here. So here you can see that for the project, we have all these different tabs here. This is where we can collect the metadata for the project. And this is where we can put in descriptions and assumptions about our project and collect information about our stakeholders and our team members and do our project statusing and resource and risks and issues and actions. So basically this will collect all of that other information about your project all in one central place. So instead of having a whole bunch of Excel spreadsheets floating around, which aren't easily reportable, by putting the information in this application, not only do we have a consistent way of capturing it, but it's all saved in a central location so we can pull it in to our reports. And that's going to be really key. Next, I would like to talk a little bit about our tool that we call Snapit. Snapit is a tool that allows us to capture a snapshot of our projects, of our portfolio at a given point in time. So let's say you're on a monthly reporting cadence within the organization. We can go in at the end of May and say, let's take our official May snapshot of all of our projects, as well as the information that we capture within the Project Details Portal. And then we'll do the same thing at the end of June, and we'll do the same thing at the end of July, and we'll generate our reports from that official snapshot. And that way, what we're able to do is we are able to run variance reports that will allow us to compare one reporting period to another to automatically surface what has changed within the portfolio. So let me just show you an example of what that could look like. So let me go back to Microsoft Project. And before I run a report here, let me just show you under Snap It here. I have this button called Create Portfolio Snapshot. This is where I can go as someone who's the head of the PMO, let's say. Not all people will have access to that button. And I can say that I want to go in for all of my milestone program plans or my program milestone plans, and I want to capture a portfolio snapshot. Here's all of my projects. We'll select them all. I select the type of snapshot. This will be a monthly portfolio snapshot. So again, we maintain a standard naming convention even for our snapshots. And then we can go ahead and kick off that snapshot. And that's all there is to it. You don't have to worry about having individual project managers save the baselines or figure out which baseline you're using for this particular month or anything like that. This kind of takes that over for you. It makes it very, very easy to capture that snapshot in a centralized fashion. All the project managers need to do are keep their plans up to date. That's their job. And then we'll take care of capturing the snapshot, and then we'll take care of running the reports. And the idea with the reports, I'm going to bring up the Create Snap It report. And again, the project managers, their job, keep your plans up to date because they know that we're going to be capturing that snapshot and we're going to be running our reports. So this is going to produce these really nice presentation quality reports across the portfolio from the trusted data sources without having to go to PowerPoint or to these other tools where you're trying to manually enter that information. So in this example here, I'm going to create an example of a Snap It report. This is called our milestone portfolio report. I'm going to select the snapshot that we created at the end of May here. Okay, this is our official month-end May snapshot. And I'm going to compare that to the end of April snapshot. All right, I'm going to select all the projects, and then let's go ahead and kick off the report. Click OK. So this is now going to pull in all of the data from the official snapshot at the end of May, as well as all of the data from the official snapshot at the end of April. It's automatically now comparing the dates and other information to see what has changed, and it's now generating our variance report. We've integrated this with a tool called One Pager Pro, and in a moment you will see here an example of the kind of report that you can produce. So here you can see where we have our first column here, or we call it a swim lane, which is our therapeutic area. And then here we see the names of our projects. And then here you can see all of the key milestones with the standard naming conventions that have been agreed upon across the whole portfolio, pulled from the trusted data source. And this top row here, that represents what the milestones look like in the current snapshot period. And then the bottom representation of the milestones is what they look like in the previous period. So it makes it really easy to see, did the date change? If so, is it earlier or later? And now you can bring this to your management meeting and talk about what has changed in the portfolio. And it, just by capturing the snapshots, it automatically can surface this kind of information for you. Okay. I know we just have a couple minutes left. This is really just an example of a report. We will work with organizations to help design exactly the reports they'd like to be able to see utilizing this technology. In the couple minutes we have left, I'm just going to give you a high-level familiarization with a few of our other widgets. So a really important widget is the one that allows us to do the what if scenarios. This is a tool that allows you to create scenario versions of your projects in Microsoft Project utilizing the tool, and automatically allows you to create the scenarios back to the active version of the projects. You can see how they're different. You can use this to explain to management what's in your scenario compared to what is happening currently in the active project. And then you have the ability to promote a scenario to become the active version of the project. So here's an example of the scenario one-pager change report, where you can see here's the active project. And then here in scenario one, you can see any bar that's green, these activities are happening sooner and take less time. Anything that's highlighted in red is taking more time. You can see which activities were added or deleted to the scenario. So then it automatically surfaces this information for you. Okay. Real quick, just two more things I want to talk about. The Outlook integration widget. This will take important project task and milestone information that you've tagged for inclusion in Outlook, and this way you'll provide visibility to this information for other people within the organization so they can see the important activities and milestones that are happening in projects directly in their Outlook calendar. So here's an example of what that might look like. If there's some sort of key event happening or a key release or whatever the case may be, a submission, you can designate who should see this in their calendar, and it will show up at the top of their calendar. If it's a multi-day event, it shows up at the top here with the exact description and color that you'd like it to have. And finally, Knowledge Widgets is a tool that allows us to easily integrate your organization's methodologies into Microsoft Project. And I'll just show you what that looks like. For example, here I'm in a project where you can see we have this task called Create Risk Management Plan. Well, what do I need to do to create the risk management plan? I just click on the task. I automatically will see this side pane in Microsoft Project that provides a high-level overview of what needs to happen in that task, as well as provide you with a link to the latest documents and tools and templates that have been created in support of that task. So it allows you to embed that methodology, that process, that best practice, step-by-step instructions directly inside of Microsoft Project. And with that, I think I just managed to get done in the nick of time here. I'd like to thank all of you. Here's my contact information. I'd love to have you reach out to me and set up a time where I can give you a more in-depth demonstration and talk to you about some of your specific requirements. I'll also be attending our networking sessions when you guys are on your networking breaks. So thank you so much for your time today, and enjoy the rest of the conference.
Thank you, Ira, for this wonderful, wonderful presentation. Really liked all the tools, especially the Snapit, project widgets, and the knowledge widgets. So I know we all struggle to deal with the information, especially like when I like the idea of having different templates for US submissions and non-US submissions. I guess 30 minutes is not enough time to talk about all of that. So to the audience, feel free to connect with Ira using the chat and in the networking. So we'll go off backstage for a minute, and we'll come back with the next session, which will be moderated by Mark Horn. So see you in a minute.